In a matter of days, the UK got a new Prime Minister, a new government, and a new king. But there's something even bigger than the death of the Queen that regular people are coming to terms with right now. This winter, millions of people face an impossible choice between staying warm and affording food.
But I have to be blunt. The country needs more help. We are a first world, rich nation. And I am on your bloody radio station talking about how people are going to survive as whether they choose to freeze or to starve.
When Queen Elizabeth II became Queen in 1952, the British Empire looked like this. By the time she died, the empire had long since disappeared, and what's left seems to be falling apart and unravelling very fast. Scotland's independence movement is growing, Brexit has led to empty store shelves, food banks are running out of food, and hundreds of thousands of workers are going on strike. How on earth did things get this bad? Look at these two numbers. On the left is the average amount a household had to pay in energy bills about a year ago. And on the right is the amount it will cost in October 2022. It's doubled in a year, and it could have been even worse. Bills were predicted to hit an estimated $6,000 a year until the government announced a subsidy.
This is absolutely catastrophic.
It wasn't always like this. To understand the roots of these spiralling prices, we need to go all the way back to 1979 and the election of this Prime Minister, Margaret Thatcher. Like Ronald Reagan in the US, Thatcher fervently believed in the free market and the power of the private sector.
Privatisation is on the move. Popular capitalism is nothing less than a crusade to enfranchise the many in the economic life of the nation. We Conservatives are returning power to the people.
In the name of popular capitalism, Thatcher's government sold off state assets like the energy companies. But rather than returning power to the people, privatisation meant that the industries that used to be run for the benefit of the people were now run for the benefit of shareholders. It's a free-for-all with limited regulation, and as Russia's invasion of Ukraine drove energy prices up, these private companies kept hiking household bills. UK gas and electricity prices have been rising much faster than in the rest of Europe. And guess what? In most of the rest of Europe, governments have spent years limiting the power of the free market. For Britain's working class, staying warm in winter is fast becoming an unaffordable luxury. But shareholders are enjoying massive record profits. The system is crumbling. And the death of the Queen has highlighted the sense of things spiralling out of control.
One of the things that everybody's talking about is that the monarch is a kind of force for unity. We keep talking about United Kingdom, well, it couldn't be much more disunited. The whole system, political and economic, is in crisis. Ruling parties are struggling to keep a lid on things. And then losing the monarch as well is problematic in the sense that the monarch is not only seen as a force of unity, but a kind of force of continuity. So this is all unravelling.
The unravelling that he's talking about isn't just because of energy costs. Food prices are through the roof, while wages in the UK, well, they're no higher than they were back in the 2008 financial crisis. All of this has been exacerbated by a decade of cuts to government spending, and over that same period, child poverty has increased. Okay, look, to understand what this means, I want you to listen to this person who works in a school cafeteria.
When the cost of living crisis really started kicking off, I've just noticed I spend as much time taking food away from children as I do serving it. And it used to be, when I first started a year ago, okay, once a month, there might, parents forget to put money on at the beginning of the month, and you get that. But now you're talking 10 to 15 children a shift every day, every single day, and I'm saying, you can't have that, there's no money, and it's breaking my heart.
Families are struggling to feed their kids at home as well.
There's some nights I probably won't eat. I have done that a lot, especially at the beginning of the year. My concern is more my son. I'm a mum who has to support him, and I can go without, that's absolutely fine, but he can't.
And we can see the scale of the problem through the number of emergency food parcels given out by the UK's biggest food bank network. It has almost doubled in 5 years. There's so much demand that some food banks are running out of food. Around 1 in 10 Brits now cannot afford enough food to have a healthy diet. For black British households, that number is twice as high.
One of the ways in which racism operated historically was to keep wages down. It's almost like there are, first and second class citizens. Racism works to kind of maintain those differences, effectively prevent people from complaining or from organising or protesting about their conditions.
This isn't just a problem for an unlucky few. 99% of British workers are losing out because their pay isn't keeping up with the increases in the price of food and energy. In summer 2022, these fed-up workers went on strike in numbers not seen in 30 years. From train drivers to postal workers, lawyers to bus drivers, garbage collectors to Amazon workers. And many people won't be able to afford their rent because of skyrocketing prices. Around 280,000 households, including an estimated 100,000 children, are homeless or threatened with homelessness. Okay, we've seen that many of the problems the UK is facing right now are self-inflicted, and most of them aren't exactly new. So, what is the government's solution? Well, there hasn't been much government stability over the last decade. Liz Truss became the UK's third Prime Minister in 3 years in September 2022, and they've all been from the Conservative Party. Despite these changes at the top, nobody in power seems interested in taking any radical action to alleviate the suffering. Instead, the government has decided to subsidise part of people's energy bills while the energy companies continue to make record profits. And the cost of that subsidy? About $116 billion, and that's just the first year alone. The main opposition party in the UK, Labour, has so far been unwilling to offer a significantly different approach. A popular idea among Brits, including a majority of Conservatives, is to renationalise the energy industry. Nationalising the 5 biggest energy suppliers would cost the government only an estimated $3.25 billion. They could then be operated for public benefit instead of for shareholder profit. While the era of Queen Elizabeth II is now over, it's clear that the rule of the free market is definitely not. And as the UK lurches from crisis to crisis, it's ordinary people who are dealing with the fallout of decades of bad government decisions.